Hi, welcome to the library, and in this lesson we're going to be introducing our Big Six research activity, and this is just an introduction to it. Alright, so you guys are big second graders this year, so that means that you are going to do a research project. You're going to find and choose an animal that you want to research, and when you research that animal, you're going to not only use your Big Six foundations of research that we're going to learn about, but you're also going to be needing to think about the animal's habitat, if they hibernate, how they grow, anything that makes your animal interesting and unique. We're going to use our Big Six research approach to search for the information, and we're going to learn all about that Big Six in the library. And then to share our information that we learned about our animal through our research, we're going to create a PowerPoint to share what we learned. Alright, looking at our standards, first we're going to look at our TEKS, and our first TEKS come from our technology TEKS from kindergarten through second grade. I'm going to be looking at our numbers 3 and 4, and that is all about research and how to find information and asking questions. The science TEK that goes along with that is about animals and their habitat and how their habitat affects their behavior, migration, and just the way they live. In Texas, we don't use Common Core standards, but I found the Iowa Core standards. It was just easy, and that core listed, it says that students will utilize the predetermined digital resources and tools to answer questions or solve problems. And again, that's all about researching, having a problem, using your Big Six to solve it. Our ISTE standards are about setting learning goals, and so that helps with our first step of determining the problem, and then setting off to find the resources and find resources that are accurate, credible, relevant to your research. And our last standards are the AASL standards, and those standards help students with asking questions on the skills for researching, how to monitor your information seeking, and sharing that information. And then the last one, 2.4, is all about self-reflecting about if you were able to find the proper skills you needed. Okay, like I said earlier, the Big Six is the research method that we're going to use for our animal research. And it is an approach that makes you or the student use critical thinking to find information to solve a problem. So our problem is that we want to learn more about this animal. Alright, the Big Six has 6 steps. Our first step is we're going to define the task. So that means that you need to be thinking about what the problem is, what information you're going to need to find to solve the problem. You need to think about what questions need to be answered, what kind of information you need to answer the questions. Our next step is strategies for seeking information. So you need to be thinking about which strategies and make some decisions about how to search and what sources you think would be credible sources. Our third step is locating and accessing sources. So that is, you've already decided what the problem is, you've decided what sources you need, and so that fits right into our third step of accessing these sources. So you know you want to use PebbleGo, and that's where you actually get on PebbleGo and find the research. It's where your information seeking really begins. The fourth step is using the information. So once you are able to locate in your source and get to that source of PebbleGo, that's just an example, you then have to read, listen, watch, or interact with the information and decide whether that information is valuable to your particular questions that you asked. And you also have to make sure that you are able to extract information, which means that you are finding the good information out of all the other information that's given with you. The fifth step is the synthesis step, and that is restructuring your information into new or different formats to meet the needs of your task. So it can be sometimes as simple as telling about a certain fact, or it can be really complicated. This is at the step where your learning actually takes place, because we are learning new information through reading, but We're also combining that with our background knowledge of things that we already knew. So that's our most important step. And our last step, our sixth step, is the evaluation step. This step determines how effectively and efficiently the information problem solving process was conducted. So this is your self-reflection. So where you think about how easy it was to find the information. Did you find the information that you set out to find? If you did, that's great. But if you didn't, what else could you do, or what other sources could you use to find the information that you need? All right, so now it's your turn. We've gone over our standards, we've gone over kind of what the Big Six is, and now it's your turn to start your research. So what I want you to do is I want you to be thinking of an animal that you want to research. I want you to think about what makes this animal that you chose unique. Think about what sources you will use and where you can find your sources. Can you find them online, in print, in the library? Where else could you find them? And how are you going to share your learning with others? Now, before I forget, don't forget to take your pre-test, and this pre-test is 5 questions, and it'll help Miss Schwartz and teach future library lessons on researching. Thank you. Have fun.